Hello and welcome back to the Annuity Show. I'm your host, Betsy Hume, and we are talking today with Elise Roberts, the expert behind the book, A Journey to Financial Security. We're going to talk about the complexity of annuities and why it's so important to have a specific expert working in that area of your financial life. Elise, thank you so much for being here. I always love having you.
Oh, I always love being with you, Betsy.
I always learn so much, and I always feel like there's more to learn, even when I'm done talking to you. So I want to dive right in with just kind of a basic, why do people feel that annuities are so complex and difficult to understand?
I'll have to say because today they are. They're
Right.
very complex. They're not simple tools like they used to be. And it takes someone who doesn't do anything else because the parts are moving so fast. By the time someone has figured out this new opportunity, this new feature, companies come in and they tweak it or they take it out or they change it. And every company's different. It just takes an expert. I spent many years doing the full financial plan for my clients. And today, in the last almost 15 years, I am 100% annuities because they are so complex.
Wow.
So that's the whole, they are complex. I'm not going to make light of that. I used to say, oh, they're simple, easy to understand. I will do my best to make them simple for you by the way I share it.
Yeah.
And I try to do that in an educational way so that when you do make the decision, you're confident that that's going to accomplish your goals.
Yes, and that is, by the way, one of your biggest natural strengths. Every time we talk, I feel like you're able to break things down and communicate them in a way that I actually understand them, which says a lot because they are so complex, as you said. So you're saying that previously they were much more simple, that they kind of continue to evolve. Is that what's happening with annuities?
Some of them, I'll just share one change that has happened over the last 2 or 3 years where you put money in let's talk about a fixed indexed annuity.
Okay.
And they choose indexes to follow, and they're not in the market, so they can't lose money, but they're following an index. And halfway through the year when they think, wow, I'm getting this great rate. I can see where the market is. It's way up, but they can't stop that. They have to wait until their anniversary when the money would actually drop into the account.
Right.
And if the market dropped, they could get a zero.
Oh, right.
Well, companies have kind of thrown that out the window, and now we have features where we can go in there and lock it.
Really?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that last year, I'll give you an example with a client. They opened the account in March, and in September, the market hit one of its highest points. So they ended up with it was like an 8%. Well, because of the feature in their annuity, they gave them 2.5 times that. It was 8.1. So we locked it in August. Nothing happens. That's their rate. In March, when they had their anniversary, the money dropped into their account, and with their special feature, it gave them 2.5 times that number.
Wow.
So they ended up with a 22% return. It's not a common thing, but it's going to happen more and more with these new features.
Yeah.
So annuities, a safe place to put money with a real opportunity now to make more money.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, I could make a 3% or 4%. That's out the window. I mean, you may still, but there's so much opportunity to make money with no risk.
Yeah.
And in many cases, there's annuities with no cost.
Wow.
There is. So that's a feature that most people think all annuities have cost.
Well,
they do not.
That was actually my next question is what kind of fees can people expect to pay if they want to
So there's 2 types of costs that would be in annuities. Most of them are variable annuities and fixed indexed annuities.
Okay.
Your variable annuity costs are actually mortality and expense, sub-account fees, rider charges, they can add up.
Yeah.
They're about 3 to 6% on average.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
That's a lot.
To pay for an account where you could lose your money.
Right.
So in my opinion, a variable is probably not the way to look at doing an annuity this year for retirement monies.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not good. Some of them could be, but they've evolved. The fixed index has evolved so much that it's kind of taking over the variable, where that's where your opportunity was. Well, now you have it over here with the bottom being zero.
Right.
You cannot lose your money.
Right.
And so the cost in a fixed index, and there are some companies who charge fees for the fixed index.
Okay.
Most of what I offer, there's no cost. I love that I have the opportunity to find that program that won't charge you an annual fee.
Yeah.
I don't charge because I get paid from the company. So that's a true no-cost annuity for the client.
Wow.
What I get paid doesn't come out of their account. So they actually, I get paid, but they don't pay me.
Right.
The company, if their account doesn't have cost, that's a true no-cost annuity. And they're out there. But where I have found cost in a fixed index is usually a company that says, well, we're going to guarantee a higher rate to give you a bigger check for the rest of your life. And normally those won't even go up. They'll be fixed. And so sometimes, depending on the age and the situation, that higher rate is worth that little bit of cost in a fixed index, because that's usually around 1%, not 2, 3, 6. It's like 1%, and sometimes it makes sense. But that my clients have to choose that.
Right.
Because I'm going to show them, if you put these side by side, I can show you what happens over time, where maybe the one without the cost is actually better anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it's so important for people to understand, because I think that is a big misconception about annuities, is that they all come with these exorbitant fees.
That's because advisors tell people that, because
Right.
they're used to doing the variables, so they're saying they all have fees. Well, they don't all have fees. And the variables, 99.9% of them have fees. I've run into one or two in my life of financial services. That's 37 years. I've run into maybe one or two that had zero cost in a variable. And you can't get those today. They're pretty much gone. I mean, there may be one out there but I don't do the variables anymore, so it's not something I'm looking at every day, but I do keep my thumb on it because people need to know. You know, if they have one, we need to be able to evaluate it, call the companies, get the facts.
Yes. Be on
things.
top of it.
Yes.
And I think, again, as you were saying, that other financial advisors kind of say that they all have fees. It's because they are doing so many other things that they can't keep their eye on the ever-evolving landscape of annuities.
That brings me to what's really important. When I was doing everything, I remember my dad came to me and he said, because I told him, I can help everyone, Dad. I can help the accumulation, the preservation, the distribution. I can help everyone, and I could do it all.
Our superwoman.
I could do it all. And he stopped me and he said, pick a side. You cannot serve two masters. So if someone who is trying to do the full financial and maybe just the annuities, and trying to do everything, right? Not just doing one or the other, doing everything. Someone's losing there, and it's probably the client.
Right.
So I believe in the real diversification of having more than one advisor, having an advisor to help you with your risky money. You need that. They do stocks, bonds, mutual funds all day long. That's the expert you would need for that. When it comes to annuities, you don't use that same person.
Yeah.
You diversify your advisors, and that's your checks and balances.
I love that. I always hate to say it, but we are out of time again for today. Before we go, I want to remind our audience that clarity is power, especially when it comes to a subject like this, like annuities, that are not only complex, but are ever evolving. As Elise said, they're always adding new features, new tools that you can use to better assist your financial future. So don't go at this alone. Bring in a professional to be on your team. Give Elise and her team a call. You can reach them at 888-526-4184, or you can scan that QR code that you see on your screen. That will give you access to all of your options to reach out to Elise. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Annuity Show. Look forward to seeing you next time.